Next thing on the list, something about a Disney and Netflix hack. Yes. So I'm actually going to turn this over to Ravi and Sarah because they are much more knowledgeable. So actually, let me sort of see if I've got this straight. There was a report that, I don't know about the Netflix, that Disney at least got hacked, and that these hackers stole one of two movies, and I think the two movies in question were Pirates of the Caribbean or Cars 3, and they were threatening to release this movie unless they got compensated.
Correct.
And then I heard as of yesterday that the movie that was stolen in question was Pirates of the Caribbean, the new one. And now I'm hearing something else, I'm not even sure where we're at.
Sure. So I guess we need to back up a little bit. Earlier this year, there was a group of somebodies that got into the network for one of the various post-production houses out in Los Angeles, and were able to take, I think it's the first 3 or 4 episodes of the Netflix original series, Orange is the New Black.
I thought it was like 6 of them.
Maybe 6.
Anyway,
Either way, they took several episodes. They went to Netflix and said, listen, we have these episodes. We're going to put them on Pirate Bay and release them out so people can download them for free unless you give us X amount of money. Basically ransom, right? Netflix came out with an official statement, said we know about this and we're not paying them. It was an official Netflix statement. A couple days later, they did get released. They're out there somewhere, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Orange is the New Black. Speed up to the last week or so, there was a massive ransomware piece of software. There's a bunch of ransomware software, malware that was installed on something like just below 300,000 PCs across the world.
Started with the
NHS in London,
England,
and basically what this is it's called ransomware. The idea is you go on your computer, maybe somebody emails you, you get a file, you open it, or something happens, and basically your computer's files are locked down, and you get a message that says your files are encrypted. You can't open those files unless you get the unencryption key by PayPaling or sending X amount of money to these people. That's what ransomware is. It's a thing. The biggest one, or one of the large ones, just happened. At the same time that this happened, the Hollywood Reporter reported that Bob Iger supposedly told some people within Disney during a town hall that some hackers or ransomware people had a Disney film and threatened to release it unless X amount of money was given. After that story went out, a bunch of other news sources started blasting that, and it's been on talk shows, radio shows, etc., etc.
The internet.
It's been all over the place.
Yeah.
Tons of people have heard about it. The big key thing here, though, is Disney hasn't made any official statements. This report that came out is just somebody at the Reporter saying that somebody told them that, Mr. Iger said something. Disney has not made any official statements. So, realistically,
probably nothing happened.
Maybe nothing happened and somebody's just kind of shooting up smoke for
the
whatever
Netflix
reason.
thing did happen, though.
The Netflix did happen.
Okay.
That legit happened. Netflix responded and so forth. Regardless of who said this, whatever may be true, we're not here to speculate what's true. We're not here to give an official
I want some false
statement.
What is the LuZo position on this?
Well, the thing that is, Arjuna and I were talking about this, and I think what is interesting with like the Netflix ransomware, this supposed Disney one, these aren't happening because these hackers are getting into these big companies like Netflix or Disney.
Yeah.
These are happening because with any kind of production, it goes through various hands, pre-production, production, post-production, right? During the post-production phase, you have coloring, you have sound editing, you have music, voice, you have
credits. They even send away things for crediting now. Like nothing is done.
It's a lot of hands, that goes into making a film. What I think is incredibly sad and horrifying is that these hackers and so forth are going after the little guys to get these big films and then take them back. My fear is that if this consistently happens and if this Disney one is true, these little guys are going to be in for a really tough time because of these jerks and these idiots that are going out there and trying to extort. I think it's a nightmare, and it has the potential to be a gigantic gigantic shift in how films and things are done. And not even just that, but just in general security and how it's going to be handed off and so forth. This could, you could like, I'm thinking like really outside the box here, right? But if you have to beef up security in order to get, this movie to you so that you can work on it, but I need to make sure your security is up to date, that's going to take time. That's going to cause delays on things. It's going to cost money. It's not going to be good for everybody. This is going to be a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, I think Ravi hits on the point of like the small production houses. That's the effect you're going to see because, giant corporations like Disney, like Sony, like Warner Brothers, they can just afford like, I don't need to go through the lighting house. I don't need to go through the the VFX guys. I don't need to go through the crediting guys. I'll just create some jobs within my studio space. I can buy the software and everything and just do it all internally. Because then I know it's under my house. I know it's secure within our facility, and especially with like the within like the editing ranks and stuff, a lot of those jobs are contracted and freelance, and now you're just going to get some some staff guys and really limit the jobs because
not only that, but in a way it limits creativity too.
Because then it becomes even more corporate, right? Like it becomes like here's the the DCEU brand with Warner Brothers, right? And instead of it just being the directing and the acting and the promotion, it's also the editing and how it's going to be cut and everything.
Security.
One of the things that got people excited about Suicide Squad was how the production house that did the trailer cut it with all the fancy colors and everything. That's what got people really excited about the whole thing.
But let's say
and then they saw the movie.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now imagine if you just put it in Warner Brothers' hands. The trailer, now people don't even get excited.
Yeah, but a lot of people will save save money.
True.
And time and expectations. And
now hope. I think the other effect to the argument is the actual the products being released more and more so earlier. Do we think this will affect? Now, obviously, Netflix took a pretty hard-nosed stance of, we're not going to negotiate.
Netflix is like a mini government. We will not negotiate with these fiends.
Pretty much, and I think that's going to be the standard line for a lot of these companies. And then the after effect will be, how do we make sure we're not losing money and things get released? But in the immediate, with things getting released early, how does that affect, consumption? Do we think, like with Orange is the New Black, we'll see a dip in numbers because people have seen these amount of episodes early, or if Pirates 5 gets released, like let's say speculate, right? It gets released or whatever, or a movie gets released. Will that negatively impact the movie because people have seen it in advance, because people can see it for free?
Probably case by case basis. Depends on the movie and the show, on like how popular it is, how much of a loyal following it has. I think that for some movies it will definitely hurt, and in other movies probably it doesn't even matter.
Right.
Great. It's a great point though.
And then what happened a couple years ago with Sony and The Interview? Right?
That really started it. So.
Right, and that wasn't they weren't asking for money. That was a different situation.
Yeah.
And then they pulled the movie, right? And it was released on Netflix afterwards. So that was a situation where we saw the company kind of give in to
slightly different,
for sure,
demands.
Right, exactly. So, but that's the concern though. What if we get back to those type of extreme demands, right? If things can be so easily,
I guess, political and
hackable and accessible and whatnot.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Just I guess unless anyone has anything else to add, last point is movies, video games, entertainment is clearly only one piece of the puzzle. As we move into smart homes, smart cars, smart traffic, just everything becoming more and more integrated on a so-called grid or cloud, everything is going to be hackable. Your iPhone, like everything, our lives will be hackable. And so this is just one little, almost insignificant aspect of it. So
the show is hackable?
Hopefully.
Oh God, yeah.
Hopefully. Oh, that's scary.
Oh my God!
Whoa, she's back. I thought we got rid of her.
Think about it this way for us.
The mainframe.
And I'm not suggesting viewers do this, but
hack us.
If we were to do a live scheduled event, right? Usually we go.
God, please don't do this. Whatever he's about to say.
But if we were to do a live scheduled event, and if you were to trying to derail it for whatever reason, some people think, oh, I have to, block them from broadcasting. Well, that's one way. But a more subtle way to do it is to put in bad links or bad subject titles in our outlines. That's a very simplistic way.
Totally.
But,
change our graphics.
Very simplistic stuff like that. And what is annoying, though, about that is, let's say that was to happen to us. We would then have to spend extra time before any kind of live event, double, triple checking everything right up until the moment we go live. And even then, you unfortunately can't be sure.
Nope.
So
it's just sort of the age we live in. Technology gives us many benefits and convenience to this, but there's a dark side to everything, right?